Hello everyone, and welcome into my New Year's reading. I'm going to try to do this in voiceover mode again. Here I have my two oldest decks, my Dragon Age deck on the left and my Animal deck on the right. And I'm going to be doing a type of reading that I saw somebody else do. It's like a New Year's reading. So you lay out 12 cards, one for every month of the year, and then you see how that turns out to be, what each month is card-wise. I'm being very articulate today. So I'm just alternating my Animal deck and my Dragon Age deck to see what we get. And then there will be one that will go in the middle that is supposed to be like the overview tone for our year. So we'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes. So I'm going to lay them all out, and then I'm just going to pick them up one at a time, and we'll give a brief talk about them, and then we'll check out the next one. So here's the whole spread. Get my camera situated here. All right, let's pick up our January. January is the Magician. So our upright Magician for January makes a lot of sense to me. It is kind of like new beginnings. It's looking forward with bright eyes. It is excitement for new possibilities. It's resourcefulness. So this definitely makes sense as a January draw. Let's see what we have for February. And February we have the King of Swords. You know I gotta have swords. So our King of Swords is kind of jumping off of the Magician, because the Magician, while they are looking forward to bright new things, is also encouraging us to be logical and thoughtful. And the King of Swords is also driving towards something with a keen mind, with logical thought, with a plan. So our January and February are really going hand in hand this year, saying we are working towards something thoughtfully, meticulously, carefully, but let's see if that comes to fruition in March. March, we have the Five of Staves. All right, it sounds like the Five of Staves is telling us that we might be hitting a stall point in March. March might be a time when we start to struggle. So we've got all that momentum from the first 2 months slamming face first into March. So perhaps we need to be braced for that. It's saying that there might be conflict, potentially outside conflict with other people that we're working with. So if we're working on a project as a team, that team might start to butt heads right about March. Let's find out about April. What have we got for April? April, we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is telling us that we might be having a lot of options in front of us in this month. In April, we might be looking at a lot of possibilities, a lot of paths that we could tread, and it's saying that we might be tempted to go rushing down as many as possible, but we're going to need to hold back. And once again, what I'm getting from this year so far is be thoughtful and be logical. Do not be ruled by your heart, be ruled by your head. But what about May? May, we have the Knight of Swords. We are back to swords. Like most nights, this Knight of Swords is telling us to drive forward towards something. So maybe we figured out which path we want to follow from the last month, and we are now on track, and we are charging like the knight headlong towards our goal. It still does caution to use our heads rather than our hearts. So definitely a message I'm getting from this year is like emotions might try to guide us, but we are going to have to use our heads about it. Let's find out what's next. In our June, we have the Four of Pentacles. So Pentacles, as we all know, is especially tuned in to money and monetary issues, And it is definitely saying that maybe in this month we might be able to loosen our belts just a little bit if we've been tightening our belts and tightening our belts. It's saying that we have been being cautious about money for such a long time that maybe now things might start looking up. Gosh, I hope so. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Especially if you're in the United States right now. It would sure be swell to not be worried about money for once. So let's hope that this one is correct. Let's look at our July, shall we? July, we have the Ace of Swords reversed. Our first reversed card. So this Ace of Swords reversed is saying that we need to slow down and take it back to the drawing board a little bit. Whatever we're working on, it might be getting ahead of us. We might be getting ahead of ourselves. Something isn't working quite right and we need to take it back. Take it back a little bit. Bring it back to the simpler ideas. Let's find out what August has in store. And we have another reverse card. This is the King of Wands reversed. So once again, we're getting the message that maybe this month we might be struggling if we are working with other people in whatever aspect that might be. Maybe we're working on a project together, or we've given our project over to an editor perhaps, or beta readers, but we may be struggling in the capacity of leadership in this case. So maybe we are taking charge of a project, or it's a solo project like a book, and we are putting it in other people's hands and we're really struggling with that. We are not the best leaders in this month, so definitely something for us to be aware of and look out for this year is moments when we're struggling to collaborate with other people. What about September? And in September, we have the Page of Staves. All right, so the Page of Staves is bringing us a lot of restless energy, which coming out of the previous month kind of makes sense. This is us now saying, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do it myself. We are driven perhaps by a new project or a new idea or a new angle. So perhaps if we were having an editor or someone else's eyes on our work in the previous month, now we have the clarity and we are ready to dive in ferociously, just fully attack whatever the new project is with all of our enthusiasm. But let's go into October. October is the Page of Cups. All right, this is telling me that this is the month of surprises, of unexpected opportunities, and we need to get on those opportunities. Once again, we are still looking forward. We're still excited for something, and this card is coming to tell us that there might be something we didn't expect on the horizon. It's also finally saying that we are more open to our emotional self. So all of this year has been use your head, use your head, use your head. And this one is finally saying it's okay to open up to our emotional self now. Let's check out November. November is the Six of Cups. So this one is telling us to maybe let's get back to our roots. Let's be nostalgic. Let's remember the old ways of doing things. So maybe at this time, it's time to take a break from whatever big project you're working on and go back to something that you always enjoyed doing, maybe even a type of art that you haven't done since you were a kid. Really get back into the things that you used to enjoy. Indulge in some nostalgia, hang out with old friends, try old methods of doing things, and just enjoy it. And finally, we have December. Our December is the Five of Cups. We really are getting a lot of cups toward the end of the year, and cups is a lot more about magic, about the feminine, and I find it to be a lot about art as well, so it really speaks to us in our year as artists. But this card is warning that this December, of 2026 might hit us kind of hard. It's saying that we are in for perhaps a disappointment or some life thing that is not going to be kind to us, and it might just be the holidays. A lot of people struggle around the holidays for so many reasons. It might just be because, once again, we're facing the bleak December winter of, facing off against another new year. For many of us who are in the colder climates, it can be really hard to handle that time of year, myself very much included. So this December is saying, this might not be the happiest, sunniest, brightest goodbye for our year, but there's still hope. But let's find out what our year vibe is overall with this middle card. And our middle card is the Nine of Swords. Our year overall, the Nine of Swords. So our Nine of Swords tells us that we are going to be probably feeling a lot of anxiety this year. The theme for this year is anxiety. Well, at least it's keeping us honest. It's taking us right from last year into this year with the anxiety. It does, however, remind us that anxiety is not the be-all and end-all. Anxiety is often just in our heads. There are often other paths that we can follow, even if we might be feeling anxious. And it reminds us that the best way to scare the monster from under our beds is to turn on the light. So look for ways to turn on the light in your own life. It also says that reaching out for other people may be important. So if you're feeling extra anxious, don't isolate yourself. I know we had a couple of times during the year where we saw us struggling to collaborate, but that doesn't mean we should isolate ourselves. Especially as artists, it is so important that we find community, and that can be really hard to do, but it can be done, believe me. And this is not an intentional plug, but if you are interested in joining a writing community, you can pop over to my other channel, hang out in my comments, get to know us over there. We're a very friendly bunch. But this is our year. Definitely a lot of ups and downs artistically, a lot of different things going on all year long. I'm just gonna let you look over the year and share your thoughts about it in the comments below, and we will brace for impact, everybody. But we're also gonna have some joy this year. It's not all bad, so let's look forward to the year together, shall we?